All right, we're live. First podcast. Going to be doing The Exorcist season 1. What do you think, Nasum?
I think it was all right. I'm kind of happy it was just 10 episodes.
Why is that?
Well, I think somewhere, maybe around chapter 9, episode 9, I started getting bored. I thought it was a good idea. I like that they're using Exorcist as the venue. Somebody once said that they were like rebooting. I didn't feel like it was a reboot, but if I talk about that, it could be spoilers. Hey, how about this? How about
We're
we
going to
talk?
do spoilers.
So you want to do like half talking about what we think, and then we'll say spoilers incoming, and then just start them.
Yes,
So if someone's listening, they have the chance to like, oh, I'll shut this off.
absolutely. Yeah, we can't talk about it without spoiling it. So,
All right. So let's do a little bit. We'll just talk about the series. Let me ask you a question. What did you think when you found out they were going to make Exorcist into a TV series?
well, in all honesty, I didn't really care much. I like The Exorcist. Obviously, I'm a horror buff, as you know. I don't really think that it's the scariest movie of all time, like everybody says it is. I've seen a lot worse. I mean, I've gone to, the edge and back with these horror movies, but I didn't care. I really didn't care. What happened was I follow Blumhouse.com and I got their article that was, "Why aren't you watching The Exorcist?" And I read that and I immediately started. And there were 6 episodes out so far. So I was fired it up on a Sunday, went all 6 episodes, and immediately text my friend and said, "I can't wait for this. Like, I can't wait for the next episode to come out. This is fantastic." I thought everything was great about what they did with spoilers, bringing back
things back to the 1973 film and maybe where it was at or where it let off. Not to say too much. That was great. I think they needed to do that. I like that it was going to be like, hey, this isn't a reboot. We're not going to reboot everything. This isn't before. This is definitely after. We're going to continue a story. I like that. The precedence was set by the original film, and it's not like horror is these days. I mean, in 73, like I remember stories from my aunt saying that she passed out in the theater. Like no one made stuff like that back then. That was groundbreaking stuff for horror.
right.
And I don't know. I feel like you and I and all other type of like moviegoers, horror fans, people that appreciate film, whether it be television or in whatever form, let's say that. We become a little desensitized because we've seen so much already. Like, so for my aunt back there in 1973, she was like, "Oh my God, I'm fainting, I'm passing out." Her brain's telling herself, "I can't handle what I'm seeing right now." And like the body's response was to like kind of pass out for a little bit. But would you or I conceivably watch something that we'd like pass out from? I don't think so.
Yeah, I believe that for its time, obviously, it's out of this world. It's a great movie, though. I mean, overall, it's a great movie. I won't deny when people say #1 horror film is The Exorcist. I mean, that's, to each their own, and I think that it's definitely up there. I mean, especially, like I said, for its time. But back to the show, what I liked, which was touched on in the Blumhouse article as well, is that this doesn't feel like a Fox show. And I think that's where I felt like I was watching something on a Showtime or an HBO or something like that. I felt that it was a lot better than just being a network show of an ABC or a CBS or an NBC. I just felt like I was watching something more than that. And the acting was great. Gina Davis was great. The girls were great. Ferris Bueller's homie was great.
You mean Cameron? That's what you're trying to reference.
Yeah.
When Cameron was in Egypt's land, Let my Cameron go. It's a really weird part from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller's Day Off was kind of weird if you think about it, but yeah, he was good. Gina Davis was great having her like this is her return, I guess. Well, not only the film but to television, because you have to attach a name to any of these shows. Ben Daniels was the one that I was looking forward to watching the most, and he played Father Marcus.
Fantastic.
Not to be confused with Alfonso Herrera, otherwise Father Tomas, something like that. I just the entire time I looked at this guy, Father Tomas, and I just referred to him as Antonio Banderas. I don't know why, because that's like his set kind of character to play, and I know it's not Antonio Banderas, but I like that he decided they wanted to do. I need an old priest and a young priest. Like, there has to be two around to be able to get us through something like that. No problem with the acting, no problem with anything. As far as filming, obviously we both liked casting. It started sometime in September, and then in December. People at work would talk about it. Like, did you watch? Did you watch? I watched it from when it aired. It's like September 23rd. And I watched it at least, if I didn't watch it that night, I DVR'd it and watched it that week. And I felt that like the story's good. It picked up quickly. I think the height of the story for me was episode 8, The Grief Bearers. And that would be the one where it culminated into, well, I won't go into it now, but it was definitely a culmination of the story. I didn't think there was anything to really kind of tell after that. I didn't know what they were going to do with it. And that's what I said to myself. I'm like, well, I hope Fox is going to try to pull off a 22, 23 episode extravaganza, like the good old days when I'd sit down to watch some X-Files and I'd have like 24, 45-minute episodes before, I don't know, commercials or something like that. But they stopped at 10, and I kind of thought that was a good time to take a break, because I was starting to lose interest. I don't know how it did as far as like, you know what, let me bring that up. As far as viewers went, U.S. viewers, millions, 2.85 when we started on September 23rd, and in December 16th, we were down to 1.75. Now, I don't even know how to like say if this was a good showing or not, but I kind of wonder if it's going to be renewed.
Well, that's what everybody's wondering, and there's hashtag to it on Twitter, hashtag renew Exorcist and all that. I want it to come back. I wanted to come back, but I don't know where they're gonna go, because the thing that bored me.
Should we say spoilers and start talking about it, or do you tell me what bored you, and then we'll do the spoilers, because we've been talking a while without doing them.
Okay, yeah. So anybody listening, anybody watching, from now on, we're going to go in depth into episodes and what happens. So this is your warning, spoiler alert. We're going to dive in right now. I thought the Pope thing was, I don't know, filler.
He's coming.
Yeah, he's coming. I thought it was filler. I mean, I know it's a setup for what's to come. So they have, but that's exactly what it felt like to me. It felt like it was just a setup for future seasons. So they had a story instead of, because I don't know, even ending, there's nothing was really resolved except Father Marcus putting a crucifix through a guy's throat.
Well, let's see. Marcus, he knew what he was doing. His one buddy, who we thought was strangled in the back of a limousine, he was pretty good himself. I'm pretty sure he survived it also. He was like, besides Marcus, this other guy whose name I don't know, were the only people that were forefronting like, we're on to something here. Something's going on. We have to move forward in whatever's going to be our own procedural kind of like movement, and try to uncover things that don't make sense to them, because they're the only people poking and prodding. Everyone else was just basically in their own little cult, if you will. And everyone else was like, they were drinking the Kool-Aid too. Chapter 8, Grief Bearers. It was the climax where we were going to see the main exorcism. And I was ready for it. It happened. We all knew that was going to be inevitable. It's kind of like, watching Rogue One and knowing that they're going to get the plans through, or maybe like, which I've never seen, the Titanic, it's going to sink. And
Yeah.
after that, I didn't know which direction we were going to go in, because all of these exorcist type movies, they're all kind of in a way, they have like a little bit of a format that's the same, I'd have to say. You'll see somebody in the beginning slowly get tortured, and then by the middle, they're very much so tortured, like more to almost death. And then they'll have to say yes to the force oppressing them, and then that turns into what did they term it in this one? Where integration is what the demon had said. This is integration. This is permanent.
Mm-hmm.
One of the earlier chapters, I'd have to say the coolest thing that happened, as far as it maybe might have been one of the only things that made me sit up and go, whoa, was Father Marcus had been fighting this demon out in water. And I couldn't quite tell, did he perform a certain type of like a quick baptism, or did he say a certain type of like prayer? And there was like this area effect, like huge kind of like resonance through the water, and like, I don't know, it's just like visually it was really, really cool. I haven't seen another show do something like that to that extent. And then maybe.
But what did it do? Because the next episode, nothing happened.
It knocked the demon out for like a KO for a little while, or that could have been the demon like oh, I just got like dinged up a bit, and okay, I'm gonna feign being asleep. One of the two, because this demon had the juice. What was the demon's name? Pazuzu or something like that.
Pazuzu, yeah.
Or
Captain Howdy.
Captain Howdy. That's right.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about the link between the original film and this series?
Well, when you watch the show, you will have a big around episode 6, right? Around episode 6, we find out that Gina Davis is actually the girl from the first Exorcist movie.
Yes.
Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan. One of them.
So she starts off as Angela Rance, and then we find out that's a fake name, and she's actually Regan McNeil.
Right. So, which also introduces her mother, which she doesn't have a very good relationship with, because she basically sold her story to TV and wrote a book and all this other stuff. And which one of the biggest, so major spoiler here, is when the Pazuzu, or Captain Howdy, goes into Gina Davis's daughter. And
which daughter was that? Casey.
And it possesses her. And in order to get rid of that, around episode 8, like you said, is when 7 or 8 is when Regan comes and says, "Take me." So what she's doing is giving the demon full access to her, which means once this demon enters her, there's no coming back. There's no anything any exorcist can do, or anything anybody can do to get that out of her. So when that episode ends is when we have no clue. We think everything's good, everything's going great, demon's been exorcised, back to hell, wherever it came from, great. And Gina Davis, as Angela, turns around to her mother and snaps her neck, and you know that Pazuzu is now inside Regan once again. And I thought that was great. My favorite scene.
That's what he always wanted, right, Captain Howdy?
Yeah,
he wanted back from the time he got thrown out a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. And my favorite scene is when it's happening to Casey. It's I'm not sure, maybe like episode 3 or 4. Casey on the train. That is my favorite scene. I thought it was fantastic when.
Oh, it was good.
Because that's what I was noticing in this show, is that these subtle things that just make me smile as a horror fan. The fact that Pazuzu was, nice in a tailored suit, looking all crisp and clean, and then as he started taking over Casey, he got more ragged, and his teeth were black, and his suit is now torn apart. And when on that subway train, she basically accepts him, and there's like a weird makeout scene, but it's I don't know, it was really cool. I really like that. And then obviously she goes nuts and tears up some dude, which deserved it. But
Did he deserve it though? Did he?
that was my favorite scene. I love that scene. I thought it was fantastic. But back to your original question, the link between the two is it was great, because that was my oh shit moment when they revealed who Angela really is. It was my oh shit moment to where I said, that's it. I think that was episode like 6, and I didn't have any more episodes after that. And I text my buddy and I was like,
so you gotta wait.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta see the rest. I have to see the rest. Like, this is fantastic. And I didn't think there was any lull. I think I was texting my buddies that had already seen it, that were ahead of me, and I was like, this every single episode, I thought this was fantastic. I'm curious to why you thought it was slow.
I think I was okay moving forward with it as I was watching it per episode. And then somewhere around that episode 8, where I'm like, okay, well, they did everything they wanted to do. They had a really cool reveal and a link, and then they had this culmination over here. And this is pretty much what would be, as far as the story is going to be for the 8th episode, a climax. And I'm like, well, where else are we going to go? We're gonna find out this or that, or we'll find maybe the Pope will actually show up, because he's been coming the whole time. He's coming. And I was at 9 and 10. I'm just like, I think I was by myself on this one. And I'm like, I'm ready for this series to end. And someone would look at me and say, why? I'm like, I don't know. Like I get it. Like, this is good, but I wasn't dying to see the next episode. And after we learned that the demon's only purpose was to play this longer kind of a game to get back to Regan, was a really nice move. Let me think. Besides that scene I told you about that I absolutely loved in the water, something else happened. So there was a whole other type of cult that were already, I guess, gathering organs so it can be used in summonings. And I guess they were already moving forward with their plan to, from what I was able to tell, assassinate the Pope. And they had all the key players that they needed around themselves. And there was only 2 people that could ever try to even start to figure out what was going to happen. Like, what are these people doing? Why are they here? Like, these people are calling a lot of shots. Why is this? Why is that? I think Captain Howdy showed up, and the ones, because a lot of them were already possessed, the ones that were there realized who he was. And they were like, whoa, what are you doing here? Like, someone brought in the big guns. And then, like, he just thought, like, I guess out of whatever type of hierarchy he saw, that he was supposed to be higher than the rest of them, and maybe wasn't getting a certain level of respect, and kind of made them all like forcibly, or maybe not. Like I thought at first they were gonna have to kneel, but they all had to lay on the ground. And the only one giving them lip had to like kiss his shoes, I guess.
Yeah, that was you didn't like the end scenes with the family?
No, I like the Resolute, you know what I mean? But at that time I was just like, I was wondering, that's when I started wondering, hey, where are we gonna go with this? And like, even when I was getting the resolution there, I was just like, okay, but are we going to move on to a different family? She's in a wheelchair now. He didn't quite get the snap her neck like he wanted to. By the way, snapping necks. If he turned her head all the way around in 1973's film, how is she still around? I mean,
I don't know, because she clearly stops it from happening to Casey.
Yeah, she did. But by saying what? Like, yes, like, okay, you can have me, take me.
Yeah, because he says, he says, we got to give the people what they want. Like, it's showtime.
Yeah.
And starts turning her head, and that's when she says, take me, and it goes into her. What did you think about Antonio Banderas?
Antonio Banderas, Father Tomas. Father Tomas was a really slow character to get going, and like, even halfway through the film when you thought maybe like, all right, he's gonna start to break out into his own, and like he doesn't have to have Ben Daniels lead him by the hand. He did. He was out having affairs. He was doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, oh, Father Tomas, Antonio Banderas, like get your act together, or don't. I mean, this is going to be your choice. I think it was like almost the very end, last 2 episodes before he decided to find his own voice and where it was going to be, and decided to give Pazuzu or Captain Howdy a hard time. Oh, they called him the salesman too. I forgot that. I just remembered it. They called him Captain Howdy, Pazuzu, and the salesman. not the Rush reference that I just made right now.
Father Marcus was by far. I mean, that's the difference between those two for me. Tomas was, the slow character, which you end up, really rooting for the end, but for 10 episodes straight, you're rooting for Father Marcus. This is the guy that's a priest, and he's a badass, and he's drinking beer and just exercising. I mean, this might be the preacher that I wanted instead of preacher.
Oh, why? What happened with preacher?
Well, preacher I never finished, but that's another podcast. That's another podcast. I will finish that. But
finish that. Yeah.
So, what do you want next to season 2?
I'll watch it season 2, sure. But what are we gonna do? Are we going for someone else? Is there another attempt going to be on like the Pope's life?
They said that family's done.
Because the way they showed them on like that, like I don't know. Do you want to call it like an iconic kind of shot or scene of them on the porch, and it reveals that she's in a wheelchair? I guess at least paralyzed from like the waist down or something like that.
Right.
It seems that like if he was banished truly either back to hell or like extinguished completely, something else would have to happen somewhere else. But you'd probably follow like Father Marcus and Father Tomas again, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to be following any of the Rances or the McNeils.
Yeah. So besides Father Marcus, which is obviously probably, my favorite character of it, is Henry, the husband. That acting in the beginning, I thought was outstanding. I thought his character, as you know, a scaffold had fell on his head before we first meet the character, and gave him, what would you call it? Like a
I'd call it traumatic brain injury, like TBI.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever that had done had left him with certain types of like, I don't want to call them after effects, but he wasn't at the capacity, I guess, that he used to be. Right. But hey, did you notice that also kind of gave him a little bit of the sight, like he can hear and see things he wasn't supposed to be figuring out. Like he was on a different. Sometimes he can tune into a bandwidth and figure out what was. Maybe if he didn't even actually know what was happening, something was going on there, and he was closer to it than any other quote unquote normal person would be.
Right. Yeah, I thought his acting was phenomenal as that character. That's what I was saying. Like if top 3 characters was Father Marcus, would be Henry, and do I want to say Tomas? I like Tomas.
You're bringing Antonio Banderas into this?
Well, I mean, he's not on par with the other two, but I mean, those two, Father Marcus and Henry, were, because you're rooting for Henry the whole time. I mean, in the midst of everything that's going on, you're really rooting for him to come on, like regain your sanity and help your family, But what I want to touch on though, while we're doing this, and obviously we'll touch on other things as we go along with other podcasts, but is this the best horror show on TV right now?
Versus who? I guess.
Well, I will give you a big versus. Something that you might not have watched, but should definitely be discussed. Channel Zero, Candle Cove. That's it's neck and neck for me. That, I mean, okay, let's start off. And once again, this was touched in the Blumhouse article, which got me thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm a on again, off again fan of Walking Dead, just like everybody else. I think it stinks. I have not watched it, and here's the problem with that: is that Walking Dead is my favorite, or the Walking Dead story right now with Negan is my favorite in the comic by far. I mean, I had butterflies in my stomach reading this. I was like, please don't go after this dude. He's gonna kill. So anyway, I haven't watched one episode besides the season premiere, and I don't care to.
Okay.
Number two, American Horror Story. American Horror Story is 3, 4, 5 maybe episodes of okay, this is cool, and then it's just like, oh, there's 14 plots, which I don't care about 12. Like, like Asylum with aliens and everything else. The Exorcist had the family, and it had the Pope with the Pope coming. That was it. Like there was little side stories that maybe were like 15 minutes in an episode, like the affair that showed up every once in a while, or like when Father Marcus went to like get his exorcist powers and fueled them with taking on other exorcisms as well. But I think American Horror Story stinks. I mean, I didn't watch the last season. I'm going to, but I thought Hotel was terrible. There's no horror to it. There was horror to this. This was American Horror Story when it started. I didn't want to watch alone. Because it would freak me out. Like that's how it started. Now it's a goddamn joke. With The Exorcist, I had that feeling again. Like I don't want to watch this directly before bed. I don't want to watch this in bed. I want to because this freaks me out a little bit. And I think that's why it's a good horror show. And Channel Zero is the same way.
I'll check out Channel Zero for sure, just to be able to see what you're talking about.
It's only 6 episodes, and
great. You know what? I kind of like that. Like this, like I'll make a prediction. Like the wave of the future is going to be like it's going to be shows that you don't have to commit a lot of time to stuff that you can sit down. You know what I loved, and I'll put this one versus other horror movies if you want to even call it horror, but I will. Was Stranger Things. I mean, we got 6 or 8 episodes. It's not going to take too long. Before you know it, you're watching something. It goes from point A to point B to point C done, and you're just left wanting a lot more. And now you have to wait a year, but right. It doesn't leave this like in the horror genre would be, and this is cheesy. You can watch this like falling asleep and you'll be able to follow it. And I don't know why I'm going to admit to like a guilty pleasure like this. I watch Supernatural, and like that's horror, and like they just what is it? The CW decided that they were going to go like past season 10, and they're just going to go for it. The Walking Dead, I watch it and I keep up with it, but again, you know more about the comics than I do. There's things they're going to try to do in The Walking Dead to keep its like ridiculous momentum going, and that's going to be like, I don't know. They can keep it going as long as they want to. They already have a sister series. Some people talked about Outcast. I didn't want to even watch Lucifer. American Horror Story, I despise. I won't watch it. Tried watching the first season. Everyone that watches it says I would like the second season. It's an anthology. You don't have to get attached to characters because they're going to change. They had a Carney season. I don't even like carnivals, so there goes that season. They were in a hotel with the Lady Gagas. Like everyone wants the Gagas. Whatever. That's great. I didn't want to watch her. That one I tried to give a good amount of time to like some season opener, which was like extraordinarily like long and excruciating because it at that point it didn't know what it wanted to be. Do we want to be shock value, or do we want to be gory, or do we want to be like that type of a horror, like scary? Like they were doing like a mishmash of all of it, yeah. and like it lost its own voice. I don't think American Horror Story has anything that I could bring to the table for myself. I know there's a lot of fans. I watched Sleepy Hollow still. I don't know how it didn't get canceled. And I'm going to finish up Grimm, but it's in its last season.
Well, I mean, like I said, we will discuss this stuff in another podcast because we want to keep this focused. And I think, we talked about what we wanted to. Do you have anything else that?
I want to do a shout out to The Strain because people are sleeping on The Strain. And the story is really, really good now.
Oh, on The Strain.
Yeah, because I'll admit, season 1 is just like, I don't know. Like they took such a long time to assemble the team. Like they finally get the team together, and they're just like, okay, what do we do now? Like they've kind of really forwarded events. I think it's like the writers that were involved with that. One's he's a popular director and writer. Del Toro.
Oh, Guillermo.
Yeah. And I guess they partnered him with Chuck Hogan to be able to write The Strain. The Strain's good stuff, but again, that's going to be a series you can fly through because they don't do a whole lot of episodes.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget to mention your Ash versus the Evil Dead, although that's more like
Ash versus Evil Dead is awesome. I haven't watched season 2. I'm gonna get to it though. I have a couple things I gotta start watching. Ash versus Evil Dead is probably the first one though. That I gotta get to, but definitely watch Channel Zero. Anyone out there?
Yeah, I'll check that out
because it's not good. It's great. Like it's great. It's creepy. It's just 6 episodes of awesome. So watch that. Do you have anything though to say about The Exorcist before we get out of here?
Oh, The Exorcist. It probably should get renewed. Fox is hard. They like if they think that something's not going to do well at all, they'll cut it. It of the ones that they had to do adaptations for and like maybe twists. I guess like they did that for Lethal Weapon. They did it for MacGyver, and they did it for The Exorcist. And I kind of feel like of those 3, The Exorcist is the one like that's worth giving your time to.
Right.
As far as horror goes, it's good. Is it the best horror on television? Maybe someday it can be. I wouldn't say it's got a lot of stuff to stand up to, and it just got started too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is up there. I think that Bates Motel is up there too, but like I said, Channel Zero is your boy from Hannibal, right?
Who's that? Mads? Oh no, the guy. The writer.
Yeah.
When Hannibal was canceled, I was just like, oh no. I knew it wasn't doing well, and I prayed that it'd be picked up by like Prime or Amazon or whatever that is Prime. I wanted to get it picked up by Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or anyone, and it's not going to happen. But maybe in a way, it can go down like as one of the best series made because they were able to keep it like sweet and short and like accomplish things they wanted to without like ruining a show with endless filler. Like I feel like Battlestar Galactica did that. They ended when they could have, when they should have, and it went down in history as one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time.
Right. So I also agree. I think that it should definitely be renewed. I definitely think it should come out and just to see at least one more to see where we're gonna go and see what this big thing is coming with all these people getting possessed and all that. So I would like to see it. I would like to see at least one more just to see where we can go with it. But other than that, that's all I got.
I think that's enough for now. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Sweet. First podcast in the book.
All right, that's done. What's next?
Well, we'll be obviously doing more of these, so tune into this channel right here. We do have I have some links down below to if you wanted to look at any of the Exorcist stuff. I'll also have the Blumhouse article in there that got me turned on to the show. But other than that, we'll be back next time with
hey, wait, before we go.
Yeah.
I'll do my top characters. You did yours. I never got a chance. Well, I could be stereotypical right now and say like, Father Marcus, who we found out maybe at the last episode was also gay or bisexual. Is that necessary?
In real life.
Is that necessary to put that little twist into the show? No, you know what it is. Every show does this now. Every show on television does exactly that. And my favorite characters were disposable characters, the people that lived in an RV and they were conspiracy theorists, I guess. And they weren't in the show a real lot, and they weren't meant to, I guess, accomplish a real lot. They got killed halfway through, and I guess they were the most disposable. But they might have been a plot device to move things forward that much more quicker because our 2 lead detectives were only crawling up on stuff like kind of late. And for at least 1 or 2 of them, I don't know if they all met or not, but those are the guys. They had to be in the story to move things forward. So we're like, oh, there's a conspiracy theory here, and here, and it's all going to lead to something big. And then someone figures out, oh, they're going to kill the Pope, and then that was supposed to be like that arc, that story arc.
The nod to Hunter S. Thompson. Wasn't he like Johnny Depp's
Oh
character a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. He kind of reminded me of him, but he made more sense when he talked. And I don't even think he had a cigarette extender. Maybe he had the glasses and the hat. I have to go back and look. I don't even know their names.
No, I don't either. But yeah, so that's it. Like I said, tune in next time. We'll be doing more of these. So see you next time.
Sounds good. See you next time.